Hello, everybody. Welcome to an interesting modelling company pop-up live. I'm in the workshop and it's absolutely freezing in here. So never mind. It's been a cold old day. So just thought I'd do a pop-up live tonight because I had to pop into town today, which meant I popped into Antics and spent some money. So what did we spend some money on? We spent some money on this. Hey! It's the Laffly V15T in 35th scale from ICM. This is a genuine unboxing because if you look, the seals are still all there. So let's not faff around. Let's dive into this kit because I've been so stoked for this one since I first flashed up on our radar some months ago because it's such an odd subject. And I hadn't realised up until then how much I needed a Laffly V15 World War II French artillery towing vehicle in my life. But there we go. So big thank you to Mr. Andy Hills at Antics in Bristol for keeping this one by. As always, ICM's boxes are a thing of beauty in terms of packaging. We can work our way into it. There we go. Aha. Right. So let's get the bags out. So we have a bag of sprues and some sub bags of sprues. So we will slice our way through these. Actually, we can open it this way. Now, I've never built any of ICM's 35th scale vehicles. Tell a lie, I think I may have built one of their German saloon cars that was repackaged by Ravel. But other than that, no, I've never really kind of dived into something, you know, from an ICM box. So we will have a look and see what we've got here. So here is a sprue door with what appears to be the chassis and some of the engine parts. We've got some wheel hubs there, suspension. Gotta say, it's like MiniArt. It is beautifully molded. It's really crisp and clean. I can't see any kind of flash or short molds on this anywhere. And it is in a... Actually, I was going to say it's a fairly hard plastic. It is a bit of a rubbery plastic, but not overly rubbery. But yeah, the detail on this is beautifully sharp. And in fact, there is a... I don't know whether we can... Oops, he says, hitting his head on the camera. I don't know whether we can zoom into it. But... Ups-a-daisy. No, we can't see it. We'll take some photographs later on. There's this part here has the word stop molded onto it. It's really quite beautifully done. Very nicely done. So we have that sprue. Then we have, to be honest with you, it doesn't look massively complex in terms of parts. And then we have this sprue, which has got some of the leaf spring suspension. We've got the radiator. We've got bits there for the bonnet, the steering wheel, which is beautifully protected there. That's very nice. The fan for the radiator. We've got some more engine bits and pieces there. Just having a look. What I do like is that ICM's attachment points are quite minimal. Again, a bit like, very much like Zvezda and very much like MiniArt. That is absolutely superb. Even on the, again, we'll take some photographs later on, but even on the grille, on the bonnet here, there are some slight kind of like indentations going down the side like fasteners and things. It is superbly done. Yep, like that. Then we have the main body, which gives you an idea that this is not a particularly big vehicle, probably the size of a Jeep Plus, but very sharply done. No sink marks or any swirls that I can see. There are some ejection pin marks on the inside, but we will have a look at the instructions to see how much of those are actually covered by subsequent parts. If not, they're not the end of the world to deal with, really. But yeah, this is a quite small and not particularly complex vehicle. Then we have two identical sprues, which seem to have the seats and the little baby buggy wheels for the unditching portion at the front. We've got some more suspension bits and pieces there. Again, the detail on these hubs here is absolutely phenomenal. It's not spectacular in terms of the amount of detail they put in there. It's just how crisp and how well defined everything is. It's simple in terms of how ICM have done it, but they've done it exceptionally well. And it looks like we've got some optional bits there, but we'll wait until we see the instruction sheet. Then we have the clear parts, which are in that bag there. We won't get those out. And then we have some, are they rubber? Yes, we've got some rubber tires. Some people will like them, some people won't. The irony is that sometimes the one thing that doesn't look like rubber on a model is actually real rubber tires. It's a weird dichotomy, that, but I'm sure resin ones will become available, but I shall work with these because I'll work with what's in the kit, and I'm cheap anyway. So, and then we have a small decal sheet, which we'll come on to in a minute, which has the various options, which appears to be with two vehicles in French colors. We've got a nice dashboard there as well. So, and there's that, actually that's that decal, which is actually molded onto the kit as well. So, interesting. And then we have instruction sheet, beautifully molded, beautifully presented, nice glossy paper, gives you the colors in the actual ICM paint range as well, and also the colors. Oh, let's zoom out a bit. Also the colors in Ravel and Tamiya. Usual things about color chart to give you assembly steps, optional bits, cut off, do not cement, parts not for use, etc., etc. Be interested to see what parts are not for use, which may point to future versions. So, in fact, there we go. Look, there's two things there. Interesting. And as you can see from this, it does give you an idea of how minimal the parts are. I'm sure Spencer Pollard would have this constructed in the best part of a day. I think this is probably a couple of evenings plus for me. Then we start off with construction for the chassis, which again is interesting because it's telling you immediately to remove this section at the front here. So quite a bit of this kit does appear to be for the chassis and the suspension. Interesting that the leaf springs are actually molded in two halves, which be interesting to see the reason for that. And then we come on to more bits of the transmission and the linkages. Yeah, so I'd say probably about 75% of this kit is literally the suspension and the underside and the chassis. And then we come to the engine, which I think if you're going to pose one of the hoods open, you'll see it. Certainly, you'll be able to see it through the underside on the chassis. And then we have the little baby wheels for the unditching element at the front. More engine. And then finally, it's almost like the last kind of 3 or 4 pages rather, it's assembling the chassis, assembling the bodywork rather. And yeah, I'm just having a look to see. I think most of those sink marks will be hidden, but I think some you are going to have to remove and deal with. But as I say, it's not the end of the world. Yes, no, it shouldn't be a problem because that piece of bodywork there will cover up everything on the inside. So I don't anticipate there being any problems with sink marks at all. Ejection pin marks. And there we have part B40. Let me just have a quick look on the sprues for part B40 to see if they give you molded detail for the instruments to go over. Yeah, yes, they do. They do. It's just there. So it's very basic. It's as basic as it needs to be. Just some recesses for the bezels, some raised knobs, and you just drop the decal in there. So that's fabulous. And then we come to the construction of the radiator housing. Actually looks more complex as you start working your way through the construction process, even though the actual number of parts on the sprues seems quite modest. And that engine's a work of art in its own right. I think that's going to reward some careful painting and weathering on that. Then we finally get around to putting the other bits of wheels on. Again, there's these baby wheels, and then we have the real wheels. And then that's it. There, you are at that stage. You are at this point. And then we have two colour schemes. One of the Light Mechanized Brigade Anti-Tank Squadron, presumably France, early 1940. And then we have another one, which is just says Laffly V15T, France, summer 1940. It's... When I first saw images of this, my first impression was that this was actually some kind of post-war vehicle, because it looks a little bit almost like too modern for the Second World War. But no, it was, from what I've been reading up on about it, no, it was definitely from the Second World War, but it has a slightly kind of modern, almost kind of post-war Soviet look to it. But do you know what? That puts a big smile on my face. That is just so wonderfully oddball, and yet that looks like that's going to be a lot of fun, especially when it comes to painting and weathering and everything. So we might actually start work on this over the weekend. I think we'll see whether we can build this from nuts to soup in the space of a week. Oh, there's a challenge. But very, very impressed. And I'm trying to remember how much I paid for this. I'm sure Mr. Andrew Hills will remind me how much I paid for this, but it really wasn't. That expensive. In fact, let's just have a quick look. I should have done this before. I haven't got the receipt on me. E15T. I think it was about 20. It's probably about. Yeah, I'm looking at the prices here, and it's coming up in around about the £30 mark. Which I think is very good value for money. But yeah, terrific. I am really going to enjoy building that. I think that looks absolutely top class. And as I said, I've not really built anything from ICM before, so this will be a bit of a learning experience for me. But I did the same last year with MiniArt, and I love that from start to finish. So this could already be the one project this year that I really enjoy. So let's just get everything back into the boxes. Oh, I can never do it. There we go. Close enough. And just a quick look at the box as well. It's got my name written on it. Fabulous artwork, which again gives you some kind of like inspiration and ideas for the weathering on it in terms of splashes and dust and things. I really can't wait to start work on this. And in order to start work on this, I'm going to have to get a wiggle on and finish off other projects. But honestly, what an utterly odd subject, but also what a fabulous one. I like the fact that, you know, I'm gonna be 55 this year. I know it's hard to believe that, and there are still kits coming out, and there are still subjects that get thrown up that I never knew about, or they've been on the periphery, and yet they can instantly inspire you. And this is one. I don't know why it tickles my funny bone, but it does. Yeah, we're going to build that. We are going to build that. So, just going to play catch up on some of the comments. I think, good grief, it's a pop up. It certainly is. Dave Swindle says you're having a laugh. Laffly, very good. Dale Lockhouse says you rang. Yeah, I should have. Sorry about that, Dale. I'll do it after the show. And who have we got here? Rob Monfils says hello. Mike Williams says, "Ooh, that looks Laffly." As they say, it's an odd-looking yoke. Exactly. Rubber tires are fine if you actually. Mike Williams says rubber tires are fine if you actually paint them, which is what I will do. Mike, is I'll give them a wash and a scrub, and then then just kind of give them a coat of a dark grey lacquer of some sorts. Dan Wood says not many parts, but it looks a bit of an involved build compared to the aircraft I usually make at least. No, I would agree with that there, Dan. My first impressions on looking at the sprues were, this doesn't look like this is going to take long. And then when I actually started seeing the assembly sequence, it's probably not going to be kind of massively involved, but I think it is going to be might be a little bit slower progress than initial, but we we'll wait and see. Travis Thompson says, one age we modeling apps. Do you know what? I had that conversation with Andy Hills in Antics today, because I passed, much to my chagrin, I passed on a Border Models 35th scale 109. Kind of wish I'd grabbed it now, but I can't walk out of the shop with armfuls of stuff because I'm just trying to kind of get on with projects and finish things before I start buying other things. So Rob Monfils says mock in January, kit of the year shocker. I know, Rob. I think it might be. We'll wait and see. Mike Williams says, did you see the finished one on ICM page? Look great. Yeah. It just, honestly, I don't know why it just does. It does what it does. Pete Bergs says, I'm going back and forth between the old Hella 122nd airplane and new MiniArt armored car. What a difference in mod quality between the two. It's very stark compared side by side. It is that, Peter. But the other thing is, when I kind of dipped into some Hella stuff last year, I had to remind myself that relative to what was being released at the time, some of those Hella aircraft kits were way ahead of the curve. And I'm thinking of things like that little the little Saab Sophia, and things like their Messerschmitt 108. I mean, compared to the equivalent kind of Airfix and Matchbox kits from the mid to late 70s onwards of that kind of series range, Hella were, they were on notch up. They certainly were a notch up when it came to price. But I do take your point, because I think even you can compare some of the ICM stuff from 2020, compare it to what they were doing, 2022 rather, and compare it to what they were doing 2002. There is a real kind of there is a distance between them now. Jim Altergott says, good morning from frozen Chicago. It's not too warm here. I can tell you that, Jim. Jeff Baker says, what's the next boxing they have planned? No idea, but we look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it. And Danwood says, anybody tried the ICM paints yet? Any good? I haven't, but I will do at some stage. I will give them a go and see what they're like. But for this, I think, I'm sure I've got a green up there on the shelves that will match what we need to do. But that wasn't the only thing I bought when I was. There we go. Mike Williams says, yes, they're fantastic. Thin with Hataka blue thinners. So I'm going to keep an eye out for them and give them a go. So, and in fact, I think they actually do a set for the Laffly. Oh, might be a spending disaster. Anyway, whilst I was in Antics, umming and ahhing about not buying more kits, because honestly, I've got more than enough things to have to build for other people at the moment, including trying to sneak in things for myself. Oh dear, look, I bought some MiniArt stuff. And, well, these don't count as kits because you don't build these, you dip into these and use these as and when. And building a vehicle with an open back to it, I thought, I need something to put in there in the long term. So, again, we are literally unboxing this. Oh, I think the cellophane stuck to it. Too static. So, I mean, Rob, 2022 kit of the year. I don't know. I think vegetables and wooden crates is up there as a contender. I will say, as much as we all love MiniArt on this channel and we're big fans of them and everything. Somewhere in this box, there's a kit. I understand they probably want to stick to a box size and for racking and distribution and everything. So I'm not going to criticize them for it. I'm just going to make the observation that that's a lot of box for kind of tiny sprues. And what do we have in these sprues? We have two identical sprues, I think. Yep, we do. So two identical sprues, which have on them, let's just zoom in a bit. I can find the zoom. There we go. Two identical sprues, which have what appear to be different types of tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes. We've got some pumpkins and squash. We've got some gourds. We've got some marrows, courgettes, onions. Bizarre thing to be talking about in terms of models, but what can I say about this? This set, pretty much you could use this for everything from, I'm going to stick my neck out and say Napoleonic through to modern times. They're vegetables. And, vegetables tend not to have they have a sell-by date, they have a use-by date, but they don't have a historical date, so to speak. So, and yeah, very nicely done this. There's some lovely detail on this. And I think for people who want to model something and they don't want to do tanks and they don't want to do cars, well, build some vegetables. So yeah, two sprues there of the veg themselves, and then we have four sprues, four of the same sprue CF, which is essentially the wooden crates. Again, beautiful detail on these. The little nail holes are very nicely done. In fact, not only are they very nicely done, they're wonderfully uneven as well, literally from where somebody has just kind of like hammered nails in willy-nilly. So that yeah, big thumbs up here. While I was in Antiques, I did pass on the fruit cart and the market cart with vegetables. I get the feeling I might not escape so luckily next time. Excuse me. Goodness me. So that was that one. So a nice bit of food action there from MiniArt. And then the other one I got, which again, bearing in mind the stuff I'm building now and stuff in the future, German grenades and mines. Now, I think, again, things like this, I wouldn't class these as kits. I think these are definitely things that you buy and you just snip a couple of things off the sprue and use them as and when. So what you get in here, it appears to be some stick grenades, some different types of mines, some wine bottles, a cluster of stick grenades there. Yeah, that looks quite involved. Beautiful artwork, which acts as a fabulous painting guide. Again, we're going to make the observation that you might have to send a search party in there for the model, for the kit rather. But goodness me, that's quite a lot going on in there. I think this also points to MiniArt's modular way of doing things, whereby they mold these kinds of things and then mix and match them into other sets. So, goodness me, there is a lot going on there. And what is this? Oh, a little photo etch sheet as well. That's nice. So we have some, clear that. We have some wine bottles molded in red, translucent red plastic, which is pretty neat. And we have some wine bottles molded in some clear green plastic. Nice. In fact, they are both, that might get confusing at the factory, they're both sprue AQ, but they're molded in different colors. Fabulous. Then we have various sprues here. We've got landmines there. We've got boxes. That box, two sprues of that same box thing there. We've got the nice long box there for more mines, more boxes with some very nice molded detail on. We will take some photographs later on. Then we have a beautiful decal sheet. That's some very nice detail on that. MiniArt really do pay attention to these little details, which I like. And the instruction sheet per se is, oh, there is an instruction sheet. There we go. The instruction sheet does show you where everything goes together, and that's what I was looking for, the photo etch. So you've got photo etch here for things like the latches. Blimey, they really do go for it. I mean, that's amazing that just something like this, which could just be molded in plastic, that MiniArt decide, no, we're going to do it in photo etch. Yeah, utterly brilliant. As I say, you've got a beautiful painting guide on the back, which is essentially the box art. But these things are fabulous little pieces of reference as well. I mean, as a kid, when we used to break the packaging down, I always used to save the instruction sheets, and I remember gluing them into a scrapbook so that I had my own kind of free reference library. So all the things like the Tamiya painting instructions for the soldiers, for the troops that they did, and all things like that, always ended up being saved. And yeah, do it yourself scrapbook. But I think I paid, it was about £12–13 for that. I think that's fabulous value for money. Because again, it's not something you're going to sit down and build in one go. You are going to dip in and out of this. And I just like the fact that it's a German grenades and mindset, but MiniArt go, yeah, just lob some wine bottles in there as well. Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. So, as you can see, bang, hits camera with his head. As you can see, it's been a busy old day in Bristol today. But the star of the show has to be the Laffly, oh, reaches down for it, has to be the Laffly V15. Yeah, brilliant. What can I say? Let's just have a quick update on projects here. And I've gotten round this evening, as you can see, we're going to put some stickers on the cruiser tank tonight. So we've unnecessarily glossed the areas that the stickers are going on. So we'll put those on there. For the Bushmaster, there's only 3 decals that go on there. So that's just literally that shiny little bit there for the registration plate. And then there are some that actually they're hidden inside there and there, but we'll put them on there. As you can see, I put the wheels on last night. So with the decals on for that, I think we can pretty much leave it overnight, then give it a sealing coat of the VMS satin varnish, and then we'll weather it. And that's it, done. Then we can get on with the Laffly. So Jim Altergott says, awesome cruiser tank. I like the camouflage pattern. Thank you, Jim. To be honest with you, it's supposed to be in kind of like Portland stone and this British kind of purple color, but I don't know. I use the AK Real colors. It's very purple. That's all I can say. And also trying to paint straight lines in 72nd scale is not something I really want to do again. So, Travis Thompson says, now I need a Commonwealth troops prodding the dirt with bayonet set. Do you know what? I actually saw that set in Antics today. Stan Codlin says Molotov cocktails. That's true. Dave Fleming says, any MiniArt releases you haven't loved? Let me have a think about that, Dave. Not really, no. They're just such a fabulously innovative company. You can't help but love them. I'm sorry. Peter Berg says, now I can feed the, literally you can feed the carpet monster vegetables and fruit instead of grab handles and bolt heads. Should improve the carpet's health quite a bit. Absolutely. And Dave says again, weathering a 35th scale carrot would be an interesting exercise in microscopy. Absolutely. And Jeff says the vegan modeling option. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And as a vegetarian, I absolutely approve of MiniArt bringing out models of vegetables. So anyway, that was it for tonight. This was only going to be a short pop-up, and we've already done over half an hour. So again, I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Andrew Hills at Antics in Bristol, who did me a very good deal on these kits. So thank you, Andy. And yeah, the conversation we had today, looking at the tidal wave of new kits that had just come in, it genuinely overwhelming that so many kind of, I mean, what can I say? He had the Academy 35th scale Panzer II in. And you know me, I like my Panzer IIs. I passed on that because I can't do anything with it at the moment. And I don't like buying things and then them sitting around doing nothing for months. That's accepted. The Border Models 109, I think he's got it in there for about 60 quid, which I thought was pretty good value for money. The Ravel SR71. What else? Kinetic Harriers, F104s. Honestly, as we said before, if you're in this hobby and you can't find anything to build or anything to inspire you, might be in the wrong hobby. But horses for courses. So anyway, yeah, big thanks to Andy at Antics. And I will pop in a few weeks' time. So what else did I get when I was in there? Yes, I almost forgot. Apart from the micro set, which I'd run out of, I also got this because I thought I'd give this a whiz, which is the Ammo of MIG Acrylic Mud for Dioramas. It is a water-based product. Oh, we haven't even opened it. And it looks like an interesting texture. So, and you get a lot for, what's that, just short of 10 quid. So I'm going to be using that and seeing what that's like in terms of weathering on tanks and mud around wheels and things. So I'll try anything once within reason. It says acrylic mud with realistic varied texture, ready and easy to use. Apply textures to very large surfaces such as dioramas, vignettes, wooden bases, or cork to create an authentic range of mud effects. This product can be thinned with tools. This product and tools can be thinned with water, non-toxic and odorless, dries completely in 24 hours. So yeah, thought we'd give that a go. Why not? Let's see what that's like. So that was it. And there was one more thing I got from Antiques, and I can't remember what it was. It was a tin of paint. It was a tin of Ravel rusty enamel paint, because I wanted to give that a whiz, because all my enamel paints that I've got here, in terms of formerly my it's my microphone trying to go for a run there. Formerly, all my Ammo of MiG and AK rust colors all decided to die on me. So I got some, I just bought a tin of Ravel rust, see what we can do with that. So that genuinely is it. We will, yeah, Jim Altegott says, so many models, I need to clone myself to keep up with the new releases. Yeah, absolutely, Jim. And Pete says, when are photo etch and resin upgrade sets going to be available for the fruit and veg kit? You say that, Peter. And yeah, I could see somebody bringing out photo etched green shoots for carrots, photo etched fennel leaves. I can see that. I can see it happening. And Dave Murray says, a pricey alternative to peanut butter. Yeah. No, I can't have peanut butter in the house, so because I'd eat it all in one go. Anyway, look, that's it for tonight. It was a very short, nearly 40-minute pop-up. So we have been out. It's not all freebies here, people. We do go out and buy things. Anyway, look, just to say thank you for watching. We will be back on Sunday from about 12 o'clock onwards with a pop-up live. What that's going to be about, you'll have to wait and see. And then we will be back on Monday evening, where Mr. Pollard and myself will be talking about the Airfix 2022 range, which is being announced on the Monday. So stay tuned for that. We'll bring you details as soon as that is released, and then we'll be chatting about it on Monday night. Might do another pop-up live over the weekend when I start building this this Laffly. So who knows? Who knows? On that note, as always, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you again over the weekend. So bye for now.